with college football just a month away, I'm going to look at Boston College's schedule. I'm going to dive in a little bit and tell you one reason why they're going to win each game on their schedule. All this and more on today's Locked On Boston College.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Boston College. Thank you to each and every single one of you that have made Locked On BC your first listen every morning. I love hearing the stories of all of you who have found a reason why you like listening to this, and I'm going to give you a great episode today. I promise you that. So, as I said, we're just wrapping up the college football dead period. There's like really nothing going on, but I want to play a game because I want to have some fun with you guys before we start really diving into the season in just a week or so. I'm going to look at every game on the schedule in order, and I'm going to tell you a reason why Boston College could win that game. I'm not going to tell you that Boston College is going to go 12-0. That's not the point of this exercise, okay? I'm assuming some of these games are going to lose, but I'm going to tell you why I think they could win each of these games. I'll give you an example, okay? So we're going to kick it off with Rutgers. Rutgers is the first game on the schedule. It's a home game. And why do I think BC could beat Rutgers? And I love Rutgers fans and their confidence that they're having in their team already. As I said on yesterday's show, if you read the boards, they think they're going to beat BC. This is a game I do not think Rutgers is going to beat BC. I'm going to tell you why right now. I don't think Rutgers can stop Phil Jurkovec and Zay Flowers. I really don't. And I think Rutgers' offense is not enough to stop BC. So I think Phil Jurkovec is going to have himself a game. And why is he going to have a big game? It's his first game of the season. He's fully healthy. He needs to showcase himself for the scouts that are going to start watching him. And what a perfect way to do it than against a Big Ten opponent. So I'm going to chalk that up right there. Phil Jurkovec is going to be the reason why Boston College beats Rutgers. Now we're going to move on to game number 2. It's a Friday night game against Virginia Tech, the first ACC game in Blacksburg. I apologize, a Saturday night game at Blacksburg. So why is Boston College going to beat Virginia Tech? And for this reason, I'm going to go to the other side of the ball, and I'm going to look specifically at Virginia Tech and give you a reason why I don't think they can beat BC. They are one of the few teams that BC will actually, we'll get into it a little bit more. I think the quarterback situation here is a reason for a lot of teams that I think BC might win. But Virginia Tech doesn't have a quarterback yet. They're at last I had heard, looking at 2 of their transfers they have Grant Wells, a transfer from Marshall, and Jason Brown, another transfer who is from South Carolina. And you know, when you look at BC's schedule, you look at some of the quarterbacks they have to face, whether it's Sam Hartman or even Jordan Travis or whoever Notre Dame is throwing at them. You're looking at really good quarterbacks. I don't see that here. I don't see BC having a major threat thrown at them. So BC's defense should do enough to stop Virginia Tech here. And with BC's defense slowing down Virginia Tech enough, even though it's at Blacksburg, it's a Saturday night, enter Sandman, that place is going to be crazy. I still think the reason why BC could win this game is if their defense plays well enough against 2 quarterbacks, either one, whoever they throw out there, that I think their defense should be good enough to stop them. That's why they'll beat Virginia Tech. Now, the third game of the season is our grab bag. They're playing Maine. Why are they going to beat Maine? Because it's Maine. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to tell you about Maine. It's an FCS squad. I don't want to disrespect Maine too much, but I think BC should. This hopefully will be a game, especially with Florida State coming in the next week, that you see all the second string guys, especially at quarterback. You want to see Zay Flowers get out of there fast. You don't want to see any injuries, because what happened last year against UMass? I know UMass is an FCS school. Your whole season flipped on a dime because of a silly injury to your star quarterback. I hope, and I know it was like the second drive of the game or the first drive of the game. We can't let that happen again. Be cautious if you have to. There's a lot on the line for some of these guys. Get them out of there fast. The reason Maine's going to lose is because BC's backups should be able to do the job. Maybe we'll see a big game from Emmett Moorhead or some of the younger running backs like Xavier Coleman or things like that. I think that's just an easy win right there. Okay, now we're going on to game number 4, and this will be the last one of this segment. We're going down to Florida State. Florida State is a team that notoriously lines up a ton of athletes that BC has struggled in the past to man up against. And we saw that last year where Jordan Travis looked like Cam Newton out there against BC. They could not stop him. So why will Boston College win this game? I'm going to put this one on Jeff Hafley. So we've got an offense, a FCS squad, a defense, and the coaching staff. I want to see. We haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to see it yet. But I get this sneaking suspicion that, like a Bill Belichick, Jeff Hafley is going to learn from his mistakes. He's going to watch the film on Jordan Travis and figure out what it was about that quarterback that made Boston College's life hell. And he's going to be able to manage a little bit better what happened against Florida State last year. I like what without Jermaine Johnson out there, and I know they had another defensive lineman on Florida State last year that just absolutely blasted BC's offensive line. I think that's another thing, but I'm playing the game correctly here, folks. I'm not going off on tangents here. My reason why Florida State is going to lose to Boston College is Hafley will figure out how to adjust to Jordan Travis. And I think he's got the weapons on defense to finally do it. Hopefully Cam Arnold and Bryce Steele and Vinny DePalma will be able to keep him in the pocket more, be able to force some errors. That will be why Boston College beats Florida State. Now, in our second segment, we get the next 4 games. I'll give you the reasons why Boston College is going to beat Clemson. I actually have one reason and one reason only. I'll get that in a second. You're going to want to hear why. I think BC may beat Clemson for the first time in many of your lifetimes. Now, our friends over at BetOnline.net are your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. And BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. Make sure to head on over to BetOnline, where the game starts. Locked on Boston College, AJ Black here. I am the editor and publisher of Eagle Insider. I still, as I said, have my work over at SI for all the free stuff right now. I'm doing that until the end of the month, and my transition over to my new position is complete. So check out both sites for the next month or so, next couple of weeks or so, to get all your Boston College information, especially during the ACC kickoff time. So we're having a little fun here. We're looking at the schedule. I'm telling you a reason why Boston College could win every single game on their schedule. And as I said to start this off, if you skipped it, I'm not saying BC is going 12-0. I'm telling you why I think they're going to win each game and to give you a reason why they're going to win it. Now, game number 5 for Boston College is against Louisville. And no team in the conference right now has more buzz around them than the Cardinals. They're recruiting at a very high level for the future, for the next few years. Their 2023 class, I think they just landed a 5-star. I think the NIL deals are working really well in the Cardinals' favors, and they're doing a good job to figuring out how to get it going. So, congratulations to them on that. But they're playing at BC this year. It's family weekend. How are they going to beat Louisville? I'm going to go with the defense again on this one. I think the defense is going to figure out how to stop Malik Cunningham. And Malik Cunningham is getting a ton of press. I saw Pro Football Focus had him like as a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the country. I'm not buying on that yet. I need to see more out of him, especially with his arm. He's dangerous. Believe me, he's dangerous. But I think BC's defense, if they can do enough to keep him in the pocket and make him throw the ball more, I think Boston College will win that game. So that's my key to winning that game. Keep Malik Cunningham in the pocket and beat him with your defense. I think they could do that. Remember, Last year, BC went to Louisville, and yes, Cunningham beat them pretty soundly in the second half, but even with Dennis Grossel's not able to move the ball literally at all, BC was in that game for half of it. Now with Jurkovec there, better defense hopefully out there as well. At home, it's not that unreasonable to think that BC could beat Louisville. Okay, so that's the reason why they're going to do that. Now, this is the game that actually there's two that you guys are all going to want to know why. Why Boston College will beat Clemson. This is going to be, I could go with, let me give you two different reasons. I'm gonna cop out here. One is a tactical reason, and one is more of an emotional reason. First, let's just go with quickly the emotional reason. It's the red bandana game. BC has lost to Clemson under Jeff Hafley twice in Death Valley by 6 points. Now, you're going up north, and you're playing at Boston College. You are doing it on a red bandana game. It's going to be a night game, I'm assuming. They haven't announced. I think they announced the time. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I think it's going to be a night game. And so if you're a betting man, I believe the home field advantage is usually like 3.5 point swing in either direction. If it's a 6 point advantage for BC over the last 2 years, you swing over the home field advantage. Now it's down to 2.5 points on average. Then I would say, hey, look at, that red bandana game, that's at least worth another 3 or 4 points. That makes Boston College the favorite in this game. That's how it's working in my warped mind right now. So that's my emotional reason why Boston College will win this. The red bandana game always does weird things when it's a good team. So I think, that's a reason why they could win this. The second reason is I'm going to say Clemson's quarterback situation. Of any quarterback, I just ripped Malik Cunningham a little bit. I don't think Malik Cunningham is a bad quarterback. I do, on the other hand, I do not buy on DJ Uiagalelei at all. What I saw out of him last year was a complete mess. He did not show me very much what he was a 5-star quarterback about, other than him being really big. He hasn't shown that, and now he could. Now, be fair, he could. If I was a betting man, I would bet not. So my thought is one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to see the tail end of DJ Uiagalelei, where it's game 5 and they're going to keep him on a shorter leash, or they're going to go with a true freshman, Cade Klubniak, excuse me. Either way, that quarterback situation could keep BC in this game. Unless something miraculous has happened with DJ, I don't see Clemson going out there and lighting up BC's defense. I do see BC's offensive line having a real hell of a hard time against Clemson's defensive line. But I think BC's defense should keep them in this. And with that magic, as I said, even if it's like evenly matched, go with the emotional piece here. Boston College should be the favorite in this game. They're going to beat Clemson. There you go. Got it. Boom. All right. Wake Forest. This is our third game of our second series here. Wake Forest, why will Boston College, a team that got decimated by the Demon Deacons last year, 41-10 at home, why should they win this game? Okay, first of all, take last year's results and throw it in the garbage, because that was a game in the cold with a still hurt Phil Jurkovec. I think things will change just a little bit here. Jurkovec should be healthy enough, and I think you should get the shootout that many people thought was going to happen last year. Remember, Wake Forest's defense was not very good last year. They let up a lot of points against some teams. What did they let up? Like 57 points or something against Army. Now, this defense should struggle against BC's offense when BC's offense is playing better. Now, a healthy Jurkovec, a healthy Zay Flowers. We saw Zay Flowers make an insane move against Wake's defense last year, but that play was called back on a nonsense personal foul call against Jurkovec. Get that into a shootout. I'm telling you, I'm going with Zay Flowers as the reason why BC wins this game. I don't think Wake Forest will have an answer to him if he can get them, if a healthy Jurkovec can get him the ball. So that's the reason why BC will beat Wake Forest. And now, our final game of this series, and I'm sure if you've been following me for years, you're excited to hear this one, is our friends over at Uconn. BC's second FCS game of the season. They get to go to Stores, the lovely city of Stores, and play an away game with Uconn's lovely fans. who have a long history of being very respectful to Boston College and their fan base. So why is Boston College going to beat UConn? Because water is wet, okay? Because the earth is round. That is why BC is going to beat UConn. You know what? UConn, to me, I have no interest in ever playing them because they yap like they're little dogs. That's what they do. And they think that they're in the same ballpark as BC, and then BC pushes them around. Now, they made a nice little hire with Jim Mora Jr., and I have nothing ill to say about him. I know him. He's a nice guy. But there's no way at this point of where they're at, UConn could ever beat BC. And I'm putting that on the record. You can, cold takes it later if for some reason UConn wins that game. BC, even with a new offensive line, with a new with their defensive line, they should be able to win this game by multiple touchdowns and do it easily. So the reason why BC is going to win this game is because Boston College. It is because Boston College football. That's everything. I'm gonna sell out. I'm gonna give you that reason right there. They're gonna go down there and they're gonna win easily at UConn. All right, in our final segment, I am going to go over the last 4 games, and it's a tough stretch at the end for the Eagles, and I will put myself through make myself into a pretzel trying to figure out how BC is going to win some of these last couple games in just a moment. Now, with the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointless or seeming intimidating questions and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have a phone, you have a tablet or a computer, you can do it yourself at rockauto.com and save yourself time and money. Why choose to spend 30, 50, or even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years with reliably low prices for every customer. They have everything you can need: brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to your car needs now. So go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck and write Locked On in there. How'd you hear about us box? So they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Locked On Boston College, AJ Black. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at AJBlack_BC, and you can yell at me all you want about how wrong I am about all these. And I'm going to tell you, I don't really care. I think I'm right about this. I'm going to stick with it. Now, the next game on our final third of the schedule is a Friday night game against Duke. Why should Boston College beat Duke? Because Duke has no offense, and I think BC's defense should be able to manhandle Duke. I like Mike Elko, their new head coach. I think he's going to do some nice things to keep Duke as a solid, floor mat of the ACC type program. But they're a couple years away, and Boston College got a nice draw to get them early. I don't see Duke's offense doing much against BC, so I'm going to go with BC's secondary killing Duke's offense. All right, here's the next 2, and these are the 2 that I'm going to struggle with most. A road game against NC State. Now, NC State blew BC's doors off on a Saturday night game last year, in a game that it was a block punt that basically unraveled the entire game for the Eagles. So why should Boston College win this game? What are they going to do to win it? My answer? They're going to have a shootout with NC State here because Devin Leary is a very good quarterback. So my reason why Boston College will win this game is this is going to be one of those marquee games that Phil Jurkovec will step up. That Phil Jurkovec will, Leary had his last year against Clemson. What if Jurkovec had that same type of game against Leary and returned the favor? Maybe he makes a big play late in the game. So I'm going to go with Jurkovec on this one. And you know what? While we're going with it, I'm building even more Jurkovec legend here with the reason why BC is going to beat Notre Dame is Phil Jurkovec. What better storyline to end this or to get ready to end this season would it be for BC to win a top 25 game against Notre Dame in South Bend with quarterback Phil Jurkovec, offensive coordinator John McNulty, tight end George Takis, and I'm probably missing another Notre Dame connection here with BC. But there's a lot of connections here. And Jurkovec, his story went off the rails a little last year when he got hurt. He needs He needs to have his, not miraculous moment, but like his moment that makes him a legend at Boston College, because he's right there. He needs that legendary win, the win that puts him in the same category as a Matt Ryan, as some of the big names in BC's past, David Gordon. I mean, you name it, those big moments. Phil Jurkovec's going to have it against Notre Dame. If BC beats Notre Dame, it's going to be Jurkovec, and that will cement his legacy against, with that marquee win. And that's why I'm going to say Jurkovec has a big game and finally shows up the Irish after multiple attempts. And finally, the win to end the season against Syracuse. This is a game BC's offense should be able to handle. But I'm going to say the reason why they win this game is their defense figures out a way to stop Sean Tucker. Their defense, someone steps up. And I'm going to say it's the linebackers. So Bryce Steele, Cam Arnold, and Vinny DePalma have a big game to make sure that Sean Tucker doesn't shred them like he did last year. That one of the best running backs in the country is held in check. Now, this is a perfect game, too, for a number of reasons. If you believe that Dino Babers is on his way out, this could be a game that they're checked out at this point. If Syracuse is already out of bowl contention, it's at home. It's a home game for BC. I think that my reason why BC will win this is if they shut down Sean Tucker. So that's my reason. And as I said, I do not expect BC to go 12-0. I am just saying I'm having a little fun here with the schedule and giving you reasons why they're going to win each game. And, we'll have to see how it goes and what predictions I am wrong on or what BC isn't able to execute. Maybe against Notre Dame, the offensive line struggles, and then Jurkovec can't do anything. There's a million different things. We got to let the games play themselves. But I wanted to have a little fun with you during the summer, looking at some things that could happen. All right, we'll be back again next week. We're getting really, really close. August 5th is the start for Boston College summer practice, and I will be at some of those, and I'll be able to go to press conferences and talk to Jeff Hafley and the staff and players, and we'll get you everything here on Locked On Boston College. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at AJBlack_BC or at Locked On BC as well. And make sure to follow us on on YouTube at Locked On Boston College. Just find us where you get your videos. Thank you all. Have a great day.